This is the time of year when we have to make changes for November and December because of the holidays. So instead of being the fourth Thursday in November, it'll be the third Thursday. Move it back from the 26th to the 19th. We'll keep the work session the same. The same thing around Christmas. We'll move it back from the 24th to the 17th. And keep the work session the same. So just move back 1 week on the Thursday sessions. Keep the work sessions on Tuesday exactly the same. We have two decisions. First one being case number 2879, Housing on Lodge LLC, 436 Gin Lane.
I move we accept this decision as proposed.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I have a copy of that. That was my partner, so.
Yep.
Case number 2894, Michael and Sylvia Rutherford, 33 Layton Avenue.
I move we accept this decision as proposed.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
That brings us down to the pending cases. The first one, 28819 Main Street LLC, 9 Main Street. What do you have for that?
Before you start, let me just update you. After the work session, I communicated to the applicant's attorney my analysis of the off-street parking situation, and she has agreed to that my analysis is correct. So as far as I understand, the only open issue now is follow up on the methodology stuff, which I think she's going to address tonight.
Good evening, board members, Mr. DePietris, Monica Navia, attorney for the applicant, 9 Main Street. I'm with Burke and Sullivan, 41 Meeting House Lane, Southampton, New York. In response to your inquiries from the last work session, I submitted further documents and site plans and legible copy of the site plan. So you should have, as listed, the first is the site plan. We enlarged it so you were able to see the notes on the plan in a clearer manner. Number 2, you had asked about the expected dates that we're going to be starting the project and ending, and rest assured we're not going to be working during the summer months. We expect to begin on September 12th, 2016, after Labor Day. And work should be completed and all site protection fencing should be removed by May 12th, 2017, before Memorial Day. If you see on the letter I submitted, item number 3, you had asked about the construction crew and vehicles. There will be 2 truck spaces for loading and unloading in the back of the building will be primarily used, and 5 village spaces at any given time will be used near the construction site or at a remote location. Number 4, you had asked about the approximate range, the number of employees, and it's going to range from 10 to 20 people at any given time, of course, depending on the portion of the work taking place. Number 5, fence. If you see on the enclosed proposed construction staging area, sketch A9.1, the 8-foot high construction fence will be 5 feet off of the front of the building on Main Street, 5.5 off the south side of the building, between the buildings, running along the property line, and 23 feet off the back of the building. The back staging area was reduced from 30 feet deep to 23 feet deep to have a lower impact on the public parking area behind the building. The 8-foot high construction fence under the scaffolding will come down with the scaffolding on the front side of the building, but remain up on the south side and in the back through March 31st. And work is expected to be done by Eastern Scaffolding and Shoring, who has done projects on Main Street in the past. The west side of the rear staging area fence will have hinged doors and be open during construction hours for 2 trucks to park and unload within the boundaries of said staging area. And last but not least, to clarify on the scaffolding, if you see, I enclose the proposed scaffolding sketch marked as A-9.2. Scaffolding is shown on all three sides of the building that will be in place from October 1st, 2016, and remain up through January 2017. It will extend out 10.5 feet in front of the building, 5.5 on the south, and 5.5 at the rear. And if you have any further questions, I do have Mr. Will Schultz, the architect.
I think you've answered just about everything that we asked for.
Ed.
Anyone else have any questions? No. Larry?
No.
Rick?
No questions?
Anyone out in the audience like to be heard of this application?
Okay, we can close that for decision.
Very good. Can I have a motion? to
I
close this
move we
meeting?
close this application for decision.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Thank you. Have a good night.
Put this back.
Yeah.
It's the tower people. Are they here?
I don't know. Probably not. The application is case number 2886, Capital Telecom and Singular Wireless. You are here.
Good evening. I'm Janine Brino. I'm with the law firm of Ray, Nielsen, Huber, and Coughlin, with offices at 36 North New York Avenue in Huntington. You're used to seeing John Coughlin of our office. I just wanted to bring the board up to speed with regard to our planning board matter as well, which we also have pending. The public hearing for that is scheduled for November 2nd for a site plan approval. So with regard to that, the village has a consultant, CMS Municipal Solutions. We're just fine-tuning a couple of documents that will be submitted in advance of the November 2nd hearing. As this board recalls, we had the public hearing for the special exception application back in August, and the site plan application is being reviewed simultaneously. So that's where we stand. The
So
board
for
has-
us, what's left to do for us?
We can't do anything until the planning board renders its secret determination. The planning board wants to have the public hearing first. I don't know whether they'll do the secret at that meeting or whether it will be the following meeting. But we can't do our decision until that's concluded by the planning board. So there's nothing further for
Hold
us
it
to
open.
do except wait for that.
Just hold it open.
Yeah.
Is there anyone in the audience like to be heard of this application? No, therefore, can I have a motion to hold this open for all purposes?
I move we hold it open, adjourn for all purposes.
Okay, if the planning board doesn't do its secret thing before our
Next hearing.
November 19 meeting, then
Adjourn.
really no reason for you to
Okay.
come to that meeting. You can just
Adjourn it.
send in a letter asking that it be adjourned,
Okay.
and then we can take it up in December. Hopefully, we'll have a secret thing from the planning board at least before December.
Okay, great. Okay, thank you for your
We have
time.
a motion, we have a second, all in favor?
All right.
Thank you.
Put your way.
On the application of case 2887, 259 South Main Street, revocable trust, 259 South Main Street.
Bailey Larkin with Bennett and Reed. Office is at 212 Windmill Lane in Southampton on behalf of the applicants. At the last meeting, we had submitted a modified proposal for this property, shrinking one of the proposed additions slightly and pushing it a little further from the wetlands on this property. We also increased the buffer along the southern property line. We have heard from Chick because we are requesting a wetland special permit. And in response to comments we had submitted a revised landscape plan yesterday with the village. That plan actually includes information about construction on the property, hours of operation, days of the week. And then it also incorporated the roof, drainage, and erosion control plans that we had filed at the last hearing into one set of drawings for the board. We also submitted a revised EAF, and then we had noted in our correspondence that we were waiting on a revised property survey, which I have to submit tonight. The survey notes the location of the proposed dry wells that were on the landscape plan, and it shows the setback for the existing sanitary system that's being removed. It also shows 125, 150, and 100-foot setbacks from the wetlands, and it specifically notes who had flagged the wetlands, which was actually Mr. Voorhees himself in 2014. So I think we've addressed everything he's raised with us. I don't know if there's any other questions from the board.
Just one. We received this, I guess it's a timeline, right?
It is.
We don't usually get those, but it's certainly extremely detailed.
Mr. Hoag is here also if there's questions about his schedule.
This is yours, Mr. Hoag? It's very detailed. And it almost lays it out minute by minute. Very interesting. Do you have any questions? Rick?
No questions. As you're aware, we have a memo from Chick saying that he has no further questions, so unless you do, or the public has comments, we can close it for decision.
Is there anyone in the public who would like to be heard of this application? Therefore, we can close this for decision.
I move we close this application for decision.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye. Give me this thing. See, this workers' comp over here.
About 150 pounds there.
You got it?
The next one's not gonna be any better.
Do you mind if you got that one too?
What number we got?
The application, case number 2889, Real Estate Organization Belgium LLC, 477 First Neck Lane.
Where did Belgians learn to fold?
Issues there.
When I filed
Don't
those
spill
with
your
the,
code.
You did.
when I filed
didn't-
those
I
with the
did.
village, I said they were deceptively heavy. I don't know why those plans are so heavy.
Don't
but
fit
they
in
are.
anything either.
Bailey Larkin with Bennett and Reed, offices at 212 Windmill Lane in Southampton. Last month we had been here, we had asked for an amendment to the board's prior approval on this property to expand the house slightly and modify it. We received comments from Chick, and again, we submitted revised landscape plans, and we also submitted a revised site plan that shows the location of the 150-foot wetland setback. In addition, we submitted construction methodology letters from Stella Monterwani and Aries Design, and we noted in our correspondence that we are in the process of preparing a SWIP for this property. So, unless there's any additional questions, we would ask that the board close this hearing.
Tim? Rob?
No.
Dan? Jerry? Rick?
No questions. Again, we have an email from Chick saying that he has no further comments or questions.
Is there anyone in the audience who wishes to be heard to this application? Therefore, seeing as we have everything that we need from Chick,
We can close that for
close this one
decision.
for decision also.
I move we close this application for
Bailey,
decision.
before I forget, on the prior
Second.
one, 259, you're going to send that revised survey to Chick too, right? You
Aye.
did, okay.
Got two eyes down here.
We have a motion, and we have a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
No, let's just pass it.
Wait a
Get rid of it. And I don't know what I got here.
The application of case number 2890, Jody Donahue, 1211 Meadow Lane.
I don't know what else this is, I'll tell you. It doesn't have files on it.
Do you have anybody here for this application?
Yeah, I think I saw
What's the
somebody.
number?
2890.
Chick's email said that he understood that it was being adjourned.
Yeah, he told me that, but it's not noted on the agenda.
Nobody's here.
This is all Belgium. Jesus Christ, they go to Germany.
If there's nobody here, we'll just
Nobody
adjourn.
here, we'll just adjourn it for all purposes. Do you have a motion?
Will we
to
adjourn for all purposes?
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Comfortable now?
Getting your exercise.
Rope me. 2892 is up, yes.
Hetty Creek.
The application of case number 2892, David Hyrick, 146 Hetty Creek Lane.
You got it.
This one can go.
Applicant Gilbert G. Flanagan, 21 South Main Street, Southampton. This was an application that was heard in the first instance at your last meeting in September. And before that meeting, Chick had issued a memo containing a number of items that he requested us to address. And I believe we've addressed all of them. I don't know if you have a response from Chick, but we didn't get some of the information until earlier this week, but the record should reflect that we submitted some materials on October 19th, and also an additional submission on the 21st. I believe that, I can go through the items, but I believe that those two submissions addressed all of the questions and gave all the information that Chick had looked for.
We did get an email from Chick saying that he had reviewed the submissions in response to his prior memo and that they're addressed and he has no further questions or comments.
We go again? Bless.
I think that was it.
Okay, I don't know if he has, let's see, something you submitted yesterday,
He did.
the revised landscape plan.
Yes, he did, and in fact, I
I don't
have
know
an
if he
email
has
from
that,
him.
so you better make sure he has that.
I know that he has that because I have an email from him that he,
Okay, okay, I just wanted to make sure.
yep, dated today, actually. I'm in agreement with your explanation regarding the plantings and outlining the landscape plan, in my memo, so I have confirmation from him that he did.
So things are okay with Chick.
Yep, everything seems to be okay with Chick, so
He said that today.
if that's the case, I'll shut up and sit down.
Do you have anything else for us?
Nope, I think that was it. Unless you have any questions, I think that was it, as we left it at the last
Everything's been
meeting.
covered with this one.
I think so.
Anybody on the board have a question? Rick,
Nope.
do we have any comment from the public on this application? Therefore, it's another one we're going to close for decision.
Yes.
We close this application for decision.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. On the application of case number 2893, Von Rivington Beach Holdings LLC, 1820 Meadow Lane. For the applicant Gilbert G. Flanagan, 21 South Main Street, Southampton. This is a similar situation. Chick had issued a memo for the last meeting, and we actually, before your work session on this one, I think we were able to submit everything that Chick had looked for. And I understand that he had gotten in touch with InterScience, and it indicated that we had addressed all of the information that he was looking for. So unless you have any questions, I'll rest with that.
This is the same thing, right, Rick?
Yeah, again, we have an email from Chick saying that he's reviewed and no further questions or comments.
Does the board have any questions?
No.
Does the public have any questions on this application? Another one to close for decision?
I move we close this application for decision.
Second?
Move it, keep it moving.
Thank you very much.
Case number 2895, Cersei and Leslie Dryden, 193 Meeting House Lane.
Building, they call it a CO if it's a garage.
Hi, Fred Weber, architect, 41 East Maple Road, Green Lawn, New York, and 52 Noyak Path, Watermill, New York. I was here last month asking for a variance for a wraparound porch. The board had a number of questions about structures that were already on the property, and I didn't have the time COs. I have since submitted COs for all the structures on the property. In addition, I
I don't have
submitted
anything in my
just today
packet.
excuse me?
I said, I don't have anything in my packet. Is that,
COs,
pardon?
Came today.
One set? One copy?
No, I submitted 8 sets of,
If you're going to
plans
submit
last
them on the
Friday?
day of the hearing, it's better to bring them to the meeting.
I got him.
Are there multiple?
Yeah, we have.
I submitted, last week I submitted the COs.
Does anybody have an extra copy?
I have an extra
It's
copy.
a CO.
Give him one. I don't need it. I trust him.
Okay, I have. Okay, you can take that back. He's giving me one.
Jerry?
You can pass that back. Did you, anything besides the CO that you submitted?
Yes.
Okay, what else was submitted?
I submitted a revised site plan, which showed 4 parking places. That was submitted actually last week. Today, the only thing I submitted today was a letter from the attorney, who was the attorney at the time the property was purchased.
Do you guys have any of that stuff?
Yes.
Where's the 4 parking? I don't see it.
Okay, that's,
I'm looking for the
just
four-
hold on a second, because
I'm looking for the 4 parking spaces.
if I don't have the set, it's not gonna do any good when we get to a decision.
Okay.
That's not.
Is this the last one that you submitted?
Yeah, that's the survey, but I also submitted a site plan.
I don't see the site plan.
Oh, wait, here it is.
This is buried.
The site plan is what shows the parking.
Okay.
Fine.
Here it
I
is.
did submit 8 sets of
Yeah,
everything.
here it is.
Actually got mixed up with another. Packet. No, not there.
34.
Well, the driveway's got 4 spaces, right?
Correct.
1 and 2 up front, and 3 and 4 go up to the side of the main part of the driveway.
Correct.
How many bedrooms do we have here altogether, counting the apartment?
You'd have a maximum of 5 bedrooms.
The house has got 4, 3, the apartment's got 2.
Well, the apartment it sort of has an open floor plan, and it definitely has a bed in the upstairs, but it's open to a sitting area, so it's hard really to say. It would have the most two bedrooms though. I did review it with the building department. Basically, they said that if you have a house that has 3 or less bedrooms, you're required to have 2 parking places for that. And the apartment, even if it had 3 bedrooms, would still need 2 parking places, because for any structure, you need 2, any structure that has an apartment, you still need 2 spaces for it. So we need a total of 4.
It seems to be covered here.
That we need to leave for the building department, because if you recall, the village amended the zoning code requirements for houses this summer, and now the building department looks at the floor plans And there's some guidance in the amendment as to what constitutes a bedroom and what isn't a bedroom. So just because you label something other than that as something else doesn't mean it is something else. So, you know, that's something that would need to be addressed at the building department level. He's not asking for a parking variance,
No.
No.
but let me go over again the questions some questions that I asked at the last hearing, and I don't know what do you have an extra copy? What do you guys have
Got the site plan, we
besides the CO?
got the CO, we have a site plan, we have a survey, and we have a lawyer's letter.
I don't have, the surveys wasn't a new survey, it was just a new site plan, right?
Right, it's just a new site plan.
The survey, just looking for an extra copy. I think this is probably it, I just want to...
Let me give you mine, so, I mean, so you got something to look at. You want the site plan?
I mean, this is what
Well,
it,
the survey hasn't changed, that's,
No, the survey
Here's
hasn't
the
changed.
site plan.
the survey, they added another dimension to the survey. They had originally only dimensioned the southwest corner of the survey.
I just looked at that survey, and it's the same date as the one I have initially. Is there a revised date?
Did I give you the right one? Wait, wait. I may have given you the wrong one.
Myself, see that whether they revised the date on it.
This is revised,
October 15th, parking? Is this?
Yeah, that's the site plan.
I don't think all of us have that.
right, September 11th is the date.
Right.
Oh,
revised
Well,
on
that's what you filed initially.
Yes.
I thought you just said there was something that changed.
Yes, the only thing they added was this other dimension here. And I guess I didn't even notice that they didn't put a revised date on it, they just added that.
Would you show one of the board members what was added so that they can
Yes.
give me a copy?
This measurement,
This dimension here was added.
26,
Right.
those two? Yeah, okay.
Which one is it now?
These two.
There was a point of clarification on the,
Those two
nothing,
were
the
added.
profile, nothing changed, but the...
Rick, I circled the two that were added.
I already have it on this one.
Okay, so what you submitted since the last hearing
That's-
is the
that
CO,
was not in the
Correct.
old one,
Oh,
so
okay, all right.
the survey with a additional dimension
This one
there,
is October
Correct.
16th.
It's got the date on
and
it?
the site plan.
Okay,
That's
October
stamped
16th.
when you see it,
correct?
but see, the updated date hasn't changed.
Just want to make sure I have everything you submitted.
Okay.
Okay, before you go on, questions that we asked I asked at the September hearing. Is there a CO for the property? You've given me that. It does show a two-story accessory garage with apartment. And we also asked about the use of that apartment.
Right.
Is it like a guest house, used only for guests? Is it rented out?
At the current time, it's only used by guests, but I think the CO allows it to be an apartment that could be rented out.
Okay, well, that's what we asked, you know, typically when the board gets a property where you're proposing additions to the main house, they want to limit the apartment use to guest house use. Otherwise, you're gonna need an additional variance that you haven't asked for. So I thought we asked if you would inquire as to whether your clients were willing to agree that the apartment would only be used for guests.
I guess I don't understand that, that stipulation. If you put an addition on a house and you're not adding bedrooms, or? I mean, my client bought the property.
Okay, if you have two independent housing units on the property, by that I mean that the apartment is something that can be rented out,
Right.
then you can't enlarge either one, even if you're conforming, without a variance. So you would need, if you wanted to continue the potential ability to rent out the apartment, you would need to ask for a variance to enlarge the front house on property containing 2 dwelling units. It's a whole different kind of application. If the apartment is limited to guests, then it's accessory and doesn't trigger that situation. The CO is not clear by itself because it does say accessory. Accessory normally means guests or servants, not independent tenants. But that's what we're trying to get down to the bottom of. What do your clients use it for, and what do they intend to use it for, and are they willing to limit it to guests? That's an important factor before we, in order to determine what standards apply to your variance application, we need to know that.
Okay. I don't think they intend to rent it out, but do they want to put a covenant or restriction on the property to that effect? I don't think they do.
Okay, then this application will have to be amended and re-advertised.
So by
Unless you talk to your clients and they agree to the accessory as a just guests.
Yeah, I mean, I think that they would agree to that as long as they were using it, but that would go with the property if they were ever to sell it?
Go with the
Yeah.
property.
That would go with the property. I think that's the concern. They will not rent it out to anybody. They're not interested in doing that. But they bought the property, I think, with the, the value, the property was valued,
Okay.
I think, because
You
they had
need to
2
go back to
residents.
your clients and ask them,
Okay.
because, first of all, the CO is not clear.
Says accessory on the side.
It says accessory. So we don't know what is, to the zoning board, accessory means guests only. You can't rent it out. But, you need to go back to your clients
Okay.
and find out, because if they want to claim and continue the claim to rent out the apartment as distinguished from guests, then you're gonna have to amend your application to ask for a variance for these other things that you're doing to the house that don't need a variance
Okay.
if it's guests.
I got you.
So this application becomes much more complicated and different standards. We're gonna have to look at the whole thing, not just the covered porch addition that you've applied for. So I think before we get into all that, we gotta know,
Okay.
Every little nuance that we grant you increases the value of the property. We realize that. That goes without saying.
And
Yeah.
they might have bought the property under the assumption that that was rentable.
Right. I think they did.
They might have been presented that way,
Right.
but the way the CO reads, that's not the case.
okay, I haven't seen the letter from an attorney. You said there was an attorney's letter?
Yes. Mark J. Catalino.
Anybody have an extra copy of that?
Yeah.
This one?
A letter from the attorney.
No, I don't know.
That one in there.
Oh, I do. Stakeholder, yeah. There you go, Rick.
I have a copy here, actually.
Okay, I have it.
Oh, you have it?
Yeah, I gave him mine.
There you go.
Okay, you need to go back to your clients and find out whether they're willing to limit the apartment to guest use. If they are, the application can continue as you presented it.
Okay.
If they are not, then you're going to have to amend the application to cover the entire enlargement of the proposed house.
Okay, so it all comes down to whether there would limit the ability to rent it. That's what it comes down to.
Yes.
Correct? And you think that from that CO, when it talks about an accessory apartment, that doesn't give them that right?
I don't know what was meant by the building department
Right.
when they issued it. At the zoning board level, when we see the term accessory, we consider a guest house to be an
Right.
accessory. If it's an independent rental house,
Right,
then it's a second dwelling unit.
okay.
What, I don't know, you can't tell from this survey for sure how the building department classified it, but it's something that we have to address.
Okay.
And it might be necessary to provide, if you want to claim the right to rent it out, you certainly have to start over with a new application to ask for a variance for everything you're doing.
Okay.
And you might have to address the history of that. So it's going to be a lot simpler if they're willing to do that, but that's up to them.
Yeah, okay. I thought actually by right, because it was an accessory apartment, they had the right to rent it out. I thought that was by definition, so that's why I wasn't really questioning that.
Okay.
Yeah,
I don't know what the building department means by that terminology. I'm not going to keep
Yeah.
repeating myself.
yeah, I'm sorry, okay, all right, very good. I'll
So
contact
if
my
they want
client.
to, if
Okay.
they want to use it for something other than guests or have the right to, your application is not complete.
Okay,
Because you need a variance for everything you're doing to the house rather than just the
Okay,
covered porch
very good.
addition.
Now, you're gonna adjourn this to the next, the
Yep.
next meeting? That's how it would work? Okay.
We'll
If I
adjourn
were
to
to
the next
find out
meeting.
in
If
the
you
next-
come back and tell us that
If I were to come back the next
they
10
agree to
minutes and
guests
tell you.
only, if you come back and tell us they agree to guests only, then we can continue as we are.
You continue, okay.
If they don't, then you're going to have to file an amended
Okay.
application.
But anyway we work it goes to the next meeting, is that correct? If I were to tell you like in 10 minutes that they agreed to having it rented, I mean, I'll call them, but I don't,
Well, then we could close it anyway for decision, and you
Yeah.
have a decision next month.
yeah. Okay,
Otherwise, if you have to go through the application again
yeah, I know, yeah, right, okay,
in January.
Our
right.
next meeting is the 17th, too, it's earlier, in
Yeah,
November.
okay. Okay.
19th.
19th.
Is there anyone from the public who'd like to hear of this application? No, therefore, we're going to hold this open for all purposes.
So moved.
Second?
All in favor?
Thank you.
That brings us down to the one new case that we have, 2898 Brian Kelly, 30 County Road 39A.
Good evening. My name is Brian Kelly, 1854 Majors Path, Southampton. I am the applicant. I think everybody has a copy of the survey and all the things I submitted. The mailing book.
They're in here.
Everything was put in the folder.
Yeah, they're in here.
Thank you. I'm really here tonight to ask for something pretty simple, I believe. I'm here tonight just to really request a change of use. The property I'm seeking the change of use on is number 30, County Road 39A. It's located in the Highway Business District. It's currently being used as a real estate sales office. And really all I'm looking to do is change that use to a pest control sales office. It's an administrative office for purposes of billing, scheduling, and routing my two service technicians. Generally, the public does not visit my office. And occasionally, I might have a client stop in and pay, but for the most part, people pay over the phone or via email or credit cards and things like that. We go to our clients' properties to provide our services, so no services are taking place on the property itself. We're a service business. We go out and treat our clients' properties. So we're fielding phone calls in the office, we're scheduling. It's an office, just basically like the office it is now.
So are you really asking for a change of use? You're just asking for one office use and another office use?
I believe that's all it
It's not really a
is.
change of use, I don't believe.
I'm a little concerned that I am a layman to this.
Okay, maybe I should make some comments.
When I spoke to Tin, he said it was a special exception because it was a pest control, a service business.
Okay, as I mentioned to you at the work session, I didn't have enough information to really analyze the application. Since then, I've looked at the zoning code, et cetera. There's three possibilities. Number one, this is a permitted office business use. Number two, this is a special exception use, and I'll come back to that in a second. Or thirdly, it's a prohibited use. If it's a prohibited use, it would need a use variance, which, as you know, there would be no chance. So we need to determine whether this is a permitted office business use or whether it's a special exception use. The special exception use category includes office and shop for a plumber, electrician, home improvement contractor. So we have to decide whether it fits into that category or the permitted or the prohibited. In order to do, the building department obviously wasn't sure because they sent him here. I think what we need in order to determine this issue, a number of things. First of all, we should have a floor plan sketch of the building. Doesn't have to be a fancy survey, but a floor plan sketch of the interior of the building.
The pre-existing building.
The building that's there that you want to use for your business. We need a floor plan sketch
Okay.
showing what usage you propose to make of the interior.
You mean where my desk's gonna be?
Okay, is it gonna be office? Is it gonna be office? Is it gonna be storage of materials you use in the, we don't know what's gonna go on the property.
Sure. Well, that's what I'm here to explain, and really, my products come ready to use, prepackaged. There's no storage of pesticides on the property. It's not like a dry cleaner per se, where the products are being used on the property, where there might be a potential for a spill or something of that nature. This is an office, just like a law office or a real estate office.
So your trucks and chemicals will not be ever touch this property?
My trucks.
You have a separate shop or yard where you keep that equipment?
I do have a separate shop, but I do plan to keep my vans. There is plenty of parking there, and I would like to keep my vans on that property, yes. Yes, I would.
Robert, can you give us the floor plan? Of the interior?
Absolutely, we can give you a floor plan.
Give us a floor plan sketch and label how you propose to use it. Whether it's just gonna be administrative offices, whether there's gonna be anything else going on there, storage of materials, et cetera. Also give us a site plan or survey showing parking spaces. Right now, we just have,
You know what it is, it's the parking spaces that are there, I think the lines have worn away over time.
right now, all we have is a survey labeled asphalt pavement, asphalt pavement.
Sure.
Have some parking spaces drawn thereon, if it's for parking, and also if it's gonna be for vehicles used in your business. We need to get an idea of what's gonna go on the property.
Sure,
You'd like to designate your parking area for your trucks versus where a customer and an office staff might park. Is that where your trucks, is that going to be fenced in and protected?
Well, I wasn't
Or,
planning on that.
Or how many trucks do you plan on parking on? I don't know if
I
you
have 2 service vehicles,
Yeah,
so.
now,
Right.
so.
And I can't tell you what the future holds, but, I hope to grow my business. I'd be more than happy to put some parking spots on there and do a floor plan. No problem whatsoever.
But, when you have it drawn up, label it, whether it's for, your
Sure, I
business
understand.
vehicle parking, whether it's for employee or customer parking, or whatever, just so it's clearly laid out, so, and also give us a written description of how you're gonna be using this property. You started to verbalize some of it, which sounds to me like you're headed in the right direction, but,
I understand.
we don't take verbatim minutes of our hearings, so we need something in writing from you that we can tie you to.
Sure.
We can, and when we get to a decision, we have something in writing that we can refer to and say, that's what we're approving. Okay. And just one other question, just from, I know what's up here, your property is within 300 feet of North Sea Road?
North Sea Road?
Yeah, 7-Eleven.
Behind 7-Eleven? Yeah, I would think 300 feet. I'm not sure if it says on that survey, but
It doesn't.
it doesn't.
Have the surveyor show the distance from North Sea Road. The reason for that is, if this ends up being a special exception use, which is allowed if approved, if this ends up being a special exception use, under the code, it's only eligible for that use if it's within 300 feet of North Sea Road, which I'm going to guess you are, but we need that shown.
If you add up the measurements for the Southland property, it's less than 300 feet.
Yeah. Right, but the survey doesn't show, we know where North Sea Road is, but the survey doesn't show North Sea Road.
So you want the survey to reflect the distance from North Sea Road?
Yeah, show North Sea Road and the distance.
Okay.
Mr. Kelly, you have a letter here from Southampton South Fork Realty. It's sort of written as an owner's endorsement, so I take it you're renting this from them?
No, I'm actually purchasing the property.
Are you really?
I am. Yep. And your decision is contingent on
Whether the
on
sale
that
goes
purchase.
through?
Correct. The owner, Harry Nelson, is in the audience as well.
Oh, okay. I'd also like to know, are you going to be accepting deliveries of pesticides at this location
I pick them up once a week in Bayshore.
and bring them where?
In my vans, and then we bring them to our clients' properties and utilize them on a weekly
No, but are you
basis.
going to take, whether you deliver them or UPS delivers them or FedEx delivers them, are they coming to that location?
They would be coming to that location in the van, yes. So in other words, my work van, my service van, once a week right now I go to Bayshore, I pick up my supplies for the week. So I have 4 ant jobs, a termite job, a rat job, so I go and pick up the different supplies I need. They're loaded into my van, and then my van is in the parking spot until I'm ready to go to work.
You're being
the
a
next
little
day.
bit cryptic. Let's say your guys are out on the road with the vans, you arrive with the material, you're not going to unload the material in the rain, you're going to put it inside, right? So you're making a delivery to that office space.
No, it stays in the van until we're ready to use it on our client's property. There's no.
All the storage is done in this cargo van that you...
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Well, you have 2 trucks.
Yes, sir.
Besides the cargo van?
No, the cargo van are the vehicles. They're,
So does that mean you never get anything from UPS or FedEx?
no, sir. No. I use the supply house in Bayshore.
Are any of the chemicals that you use considered by the state or the federal government to be hazardous materials?
No, they're not. No, we do not need to use any hazardous material placards whatsoever for our vehicles. No.
Are any of them considered oxidizers?
No, sir.
Is it illegal to have these products, federal, can the mail service or delivery service deliver them if you didn't
I
want to
wouldn't-
pick them up?
I don't believe so. I've never had I don't know. I think maybe you could order something on the internet, but That's more for homeowner use.
Right, I'm saying your gauge is
But me
usually,
being a licensed professional, I need to buy them from a licensed distributor so they can just be tracked and.
well, okay.
Well, why is it you have to pick them up, to save the freight charges?
Well, it just makes things easier. My distributor isn't gonna drive out here and, you know what it's like out here in the summertime. It's just to drop off a handful of this and a handful of that. So I place an order once a week. I drive up, pick everything up, and that's just how we work it. We've always done it that way.
Now, what happens to the remnants? You don't use it all up on.
Stays in the van till the next job.
And is it affected by heat or cold or anything? In the van, you're storing it on the property, just not in the building.
Just not in the building, correct.
What
So,
about cleaning your equipment?
Is it heat affected, for instance, these things?
Um,
I mean, they're VOC, they're volatile, I imagine, and heat would make it more so and such. I just don't know.
I've never really had that question come up. Never had an issue really. I mean, it's for anybody I've ever worked for in the past. It's always been done this way, and we've never had an issue.
Okay.
If you have spray cans and storage containers, and periodically, don't you have to clean those?
We do.
So where does that happen?
We do, and we clean them out actually on our client's property. It's recommended that anything that we clean is done at a service property. It can't be done on the side of the street at a fire hydrant. It can't be done. It needs to be done by law.
Like if you had a slop sneaker and you thought they couldn't come in
No,
and wash
sir.
out their equipment and
No.
sprayers or make repairs or any of that stuff doesn't happen then?
No.
Okay.
No. Nope. My real goal is really to restore this property into more of a pristine condition. I think you all know the property. I'm sure you all get coffee at 7-Eleven. We could use a little help, and I think it would benefit not only the surrounding properties, but the town and village of Southampton to get that property up to par. And I
If you park your trucks there at night, are you gonna fence them in and gate them in?
I didn't plan on it. Unless there was some sort of vandalism that happened, then we'd have to go that route, but I'm not really one for big fences and things like that. Probably security cameras, but.
Do you have anything more?
Nope, that's it.
Rick,
I have a question for Rick. I'm assuming this is not retail use, but retail is prohibited in this zone? I'm just curious.
Yes.
And we have no retail. Do we do any retail whatsoever?
Is there anyone from the public who'd like to be heard to this application?
Hi.
You want to come up to the microphone so
Okay.
we can capture you on film?
Hi.
How are you, Brian?
Michelle Burkowski.
Nice to see you.
Hoping you're going to be a good neighbor.
I would like to.
Hi, Michelle Burkowski. I own property at 39 Aldrich Lane, and I have a few concerns I'd like to have addressed. Of course, the chemicals, and I too was concerned about disposal and storage of chemicals. Mr. Kelly just said that they do cleaning on the client's property, but I was just wondering in the winter when things are shut down and water's turned off, how it could be done then, because a lot of time people have pest problems in the winter. Also, he did mention rats, and I just wondered how you could have, it sounded like you had very good, like pure kind of chemicals, but to kill rats, I think you need some kind of more high-end poisons or something, and I was a little concerned about that. And also, like, if you trap or do anything like that, where the dead animals would be disposed of. And then just, like the surrounding area be protected and stuff, because I am concerned about people breaking in or stealing chemicals. I think that's it.
All right.
Okay.
I don't know if I remember them all, but let me try.
Okay.
As far as rats go,
Yeah.
we use a bait block, which is it's an edible, and they're by law they have to be in a lock-proof container for the rats, so raccoons can't tamper with tamper-proof. Kids, raccoons, pets, dogs, cats cannot get to these, and they have to be placed, stuck into the ground. So that's really when we use it at somebody's house. I have a 5-gallon container that holds a few hundred blocks, and when we go to somebody's house, we take out 3 blocks, put it in a tamper-proof, you might have seen them in little black boxes. And
I think I've used them.
we put them along the perimeter of the house. The rats go in, they eat, and
They go back to the nest.
they go back to the nest, and then that's that.
You just said raccoons. Are you going to do any other kind of
I'm
pest
not a
control?
licensed trapper.
Okay, all right.
Raccoons and nuisance wildlife is something that
Okay.
I have a friend in East Hampton who does all that stuff for me, and I'm just.
Rodents, termites.
Termites, ants, beetles, bees' nests, that sort of stuff.
Okay.
Is really my expertise.
Okay.
And you had a few other questions, I'm sure.
Mostly with the storage of the chemicals and things, all the board
Sure,
same
sure,
questions.
and they're great
that- that's-
concerns, and it's not, by no means are we having some chemical storage warehouse, and
Right.
it's not, the stuff we use is, like I said, prepackaged, so, if I am doing an ant job, the containers that we use, right, that they make these days are one-shot deals, so I'm using an ant killer, and we're spraying the property, it comes in a 16-ounce bottle, ready to use. So really, with that container, when you're finished with it, it's ready for disposal right in the garbage. There's no, it's not like the olden days where you'd buy
In
a
their-
bulk container and
their
mix it into your own
garbage or-
sprayers. Into the, what we probably use.
Will you be having a dumpster and?
I would probably have to have some kind of facility, because,
Right.
everybody has some kind of waste as
Right,
far as
right.
garbage and things like that, so.
But I'm sure.
Well, anything we would put into there would be, acceptable.
Because aren't you are regulated by
The
EPA or
Department of
Department?
Environmental
Mhm.
Conservation. And I'm fully licensed and accredited and a reputable guy.
Okay.
Be a
Good luck.
great neighbor.
Because I think they're going to put you through the paces for everything.
I
Okay.
can assure you, I'm on the up and up, and I'd really like to make that property. There's a lot of other things I think that could go into that particular property that might not be as good for a neighbor.
Okay.
Gas station, who knows?
Is that a
Anyone else
mix?
from the public would like to be heard?
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah?
Oh, you said everything, yes. Like this, I understand.
And she is wearing a Mets button, too.
Let's go Mets.
Like 29 Aldrich. Together my property, like this side is this side. Parking, traffic, noisy, I don't believe it. For this side is this side, my property.
Your
You're
property-
expecting noise from the gentleman here, is that it?
Yeah.
Well, it's got to be, it's going to be something someday, that property. I mean,
Well, it
I,
already is something, it's a real estate office.
You probably have less traffic than a real estate office had, because customers don't stop there, he doesn't sell anything.
I don't think so, the traffic. This one, I'm not like it like this.
okay.
There's one thing I forgot to mention. If we end up classifying this as a special exception use rather than permitted as of right, we're also going to need an environmental assessment form.
Environmental assessment form.
Yes, you may need to hire a consultant to help you with this application. Certainly, you're likely to need that if we have to get into an environmental assessment. It's, if
Is that an EIS? Is that environmental assessment?
EAF.
Assessment form. Okay. I mean, I recently, I did a, looking to purchase this property, I did an environmental study. I had somebody come down because I was concerned about the dry cleaner next door. That was my concern. I mean, I have some concerns with this property as well because of the dry cleaner from the 70s next door. And
Yeah,
purchasing.
the board's concern is with your proposed use.
Okay, and I did have somebody come and take a look just to see, so I'm not sure what the environmental assessment form
Certainly, you-
entails, but I'll look.
You may need some help with this,
Okay,
because I have a feeling it's more likely to fall into the special exception category, although, it's hard to say. Which means it's still allowed if you approve it, if it's within 300 feet, but then we have to do more steps. I don't want to prejudge the application until we get all the information in. in terms of how to classify it. So this is a little bit complicated.
More complicated than I thought, I guess.
Brian, I only see your name on the application. Is there a company name that you do business as?
Twin Forks Pest Control?
Therefore, we're gonna hold this open for all purposes.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
I have a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.